And here we are. So how to choose a PR agency is a question that I always been asked. Being a PR agency, so I decide to give a quick introduction about us. As I said, you see the video. We have a small PR agency based in London, and we start operating since 2015. And the reason of the talk is that a lot of people think a PR agency is a PR agency and that's it. But as in all choices that you made in your business, you need to know what you need before engaging a PR agency, and that's a very clear question you need to ask yourself and your business. So we try to create a kind of a profile of communication and PR agency that are in the industry, in the video games industry, and we decide to explore who is available, what is available as a matter of time. So we identified three big chunk of proposition, which they are basically what we're gonna identify with the freelancers, the executioner, and the strategist. And those three area of expertise define most of the agencies. So there is agencies that are more experts in one area respects to another. So let's start with the freelancers, which is personally the way I started Renaissance as a one-man band. And freelancers are very good in the terms of being very cost effective, and they are also generally specific with a particular genre and are perfect for small budget projects. So if you develop your first game, they are perfect because they bring in the expertise that you need and try to make sure they know patching the cost of a huge structure. What is important with freelancer is, of course, for you to check what the expertise is about, similarity between your games and the previous games that this particular freelance launched, but also they are perfect for two area: small project, or if you're in a big team, you're a big studio or a big publisher, and you need someone just to come in and coordinate everything. So freelancers are very good for it. So the second type of agency is what I call the executioner. Executioner is when you need someone that do what they tell them to do. Is when you need manpower. So you are a publisher, you are a developer that got a background on what communication is, and you need someone that basically do what you tell them to do. There is a lot of agency and a lot of companies that need this type of expertise. And what you can notice, of course, is when you talk with agencies, some of those agencies, they can be identified very good because they got a director level people that run the business and a series of junior people. They got very good fresh eyes, and they're good at their job, but they are not strategists. So that's the whole idea. I can see those type of agency working with companies that they have an internal communication department, or they know about the media landscape, have changed the relation between media, content creators, social media, and so on. And the only thing I would suggest to check is the level of experience of the team and what these people can guarantee on pre-agreement. When you imply someone to execute a campaign, it's if something maybe doesn't deliver in the way you expect, they are simply executioners. So it's going to be difficult to with changing strategy or meet the KPI that you require. The third, the most rounded type of service that you can see in the comms world is those agencies that actually I call the strategists. They are probably, and rightly so, I would say, the most expensive of the range. They have a team that is really expert. It's coming with different background and experts in communication. They be able to help you to shape your strategy, because in the communication, in talking about what PR campaign, we are not in the world of when you do the announcement, news, preview, review, and it's done. But communication is much more dynamic and volatile in a way. So you need to make sure that if you focus is going to finish your game, you go to it's better to invest to a company that can build up the strategy. You sign off, go back and execute. And similarly, with people that have potential, they need expertise. So basically, you are similar. You are another company, you're a publisher. You don't have a comms department yet because you are a small, medium publisher, or you have one PR manager. You want someone that say, okay, so we have 5 titles to launch. What are we going to do? Call an agency, build up the strategy, sign off, and carry on. So these are the three the typology of agency that we think exist. But another question is how many agencies I have to hire. So thinking global, not all the game benefits of one agency per territory, and similarly, every company benefits to having people on the ground in each country. So how you resolve this? I would always suggest to choose the agency you work with based on whether your sales focus is. And what I mean with this, there is what I call a bleeding effect of English language in non-English speaking territories. So if your main market in the US and UK, you don't need an agency in Italy and Switzerland, but you can guarantee that when you have a good agency working on those territories, that your message is gonna bleed on those other countries where you don't have an agency. Or you can get an agency that offer European or global services that we're gonna guarantee probably a less reach of coverage in the country where they're not present, but they can guarantee a coverage that's gonna cost less than one agency in each country. I always say pick up the top 3 countries for your game and then choose which languages focus on your campaign. There is a point here about China. China is a huge market, but not all the games are good for the Chinese market. And on top of this, China is probably the only exception that if you want to have a break there on the comms, you need to have someone on the ground there. And there is few agencies in the UK and in the world that offer this service. So from my point of view, so what I would call a quick takeaways from these? You need to pick up the right agency based on what you need, not what they tell you, because everyone, I come from a in-house experience, and everyone gonna say what you want to listen in general. But be very clear what you need. You need someone that do what you tell them, or need someone to help you to build up your campaign. Always focus the top 3 countries, and English language have a lot of power. Say me, they've got a very strong Italian accent, as you can probably hear. And when and if you have a budget to go on a multi-agency setting, I suggest the top countries to focus, top language to focus are English, Germany, and France, because as a matter of market value, are probably the one that's gonna generate the best return of investment. And it was a very short presentation about giving some suggestion about how to pick up an agency. If you have any question, just ask me on the Q&A box, or you can contact us anytime.